Hello, Buzz. How's it going?
Good evening, Alex. Very well. How are you?
I'm good, sir. I'm good. So we've got a good one this week. Independent film. It's called The Vast of Night. It's on Prime Video, and it's basically it's set in the 1950s, New Mexico in the States, in a small village. I think it's called Cayenne or something like that. And it's about a switchboard operator called Faye and her friend, which is the local DJ for the local radio. I think is Everett is his name.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she hears on her switchboard. She gets a call one night, and she hears a very strange noise, which doesn't seem to be earthbound, coming from anywhere that is familiar. And the whole film revolves around them, the two of them trying to solve the mystery of where this sound is coming from. And then they get calls from listeners and things like that. So it all happens in this town. Nobody, the action doesn't come out of this little town. And I really enjoyed it. What did you thought of it?
Yeah, thoroughly impressed by this one. Went into the film not knowing any of the actors or actresses. Still don't either. They're unknowns in the acting world. And also didn't know the director. Having watched the film, thanks for the recommendation, Alex, I will be looking out for all three of them. The director, the actress and the actor. Absolutely. They were fantastic in the film. And as I was saying before to you, before I start recording, there's a kind of cuteness to the film in which it's like the heart of movie making, really. There's passionate. Yeah, there's no political things in it. It's just an adventure story at its heart. And I was gripped from minute one. There's loads of long set pieces in the film, long running shots, some of them with dialogue, some of them not, both being interesting. And the camera angles and the cinematography was a big thing for this film, because it wasn't like centered around a story that, it's a bit more of a linear story. So the cinematography needed to be on point, the acting needed to be on point, the feeling of adventure needed to be on point, and it all was for me.
It was, and I think that's what cinema is all about. To be honest, you just follow these kids, and that's what it should be. Just a simple story, a simple adventure. But the other thing, first of all, it all happens at night, and that's very hard to film to start with. And it has a couple of stylistic choices where it reminded me of Super 8, the film.
By Steven Spielberg, isn't it?
I think it's J.J. Abrams, not Spielberg.
Okay.
But anyway, it's a massively high-budget film.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a high-budget film, and you're thinking, and it's exactly the same setup and exactly the same sort of mystery feel to it. And this one is I think is much more gripping, just because of the way they've made it look intimate almost, because you follow these two characters around. It's very small budget. You can see that they've done their best to show bring the message forward with just a small amount of money that they had. And it's just the story behind the film is also, we talked about it earlier, how they made the film is also
I think you were saying like the director himself, he was reaching far and wide just to even get the props for the film. So like the cars that they were using, that he would be petitioning online, the extras that they were using, that none of these people, a lot of people weren't even paid to be in the film, just to have the privilege of, if it made it big, which it has now, to say, oh look, there's me. I mean, there's a particular one of the set pieces in the film, there's a big basketball game going on in the small town, and every village member, every town member is there, and that's one of the better shots in the film. And the prelude to that shot, I actually had to ask you how they even did this. Is a great scene, which is the camera almost looks like it's on like a bungee wire, and it's going all through the town, and it must go about a mile through the town to reach the place where they're playing basketball. Straight away, I said to you after watching it, I said, how did they do that shot? And you had a good story for that, didn't you?
Yeah, because I looked it up, and it literally I think it's about 10 minutes. The camera starts from the switchboard, and then where Faye characters is, comes out, and it literally crosses the town, and it goes through the football field, through the game, not the football, the basketball court. Through it, comes out the other way, and continues to travel all the way to the DJ, the radio station. All in one shot, and apparently,
absolutely mesmerizing.
Yeah, it's just, and this is on a small budget, and you're thinking, wow, you need, how much setup you need, how much choreography you need in order to pull that off.
Yeah.
With the big budget, it's hard.
Yeah.
So that's why I was impressed by the feel of an independent small film, but also how much passion they put into delivering this product.
Yeah.
And you don't even see that is. If you go in without knowing, you won't even notice that.
Yeah,
this
and
is
two more points as well. It's like I think there's quite a lot of suspense in the film, and there's quite a lot of tension, which I think they got bang on. You know, that's what kept it interesting. Although the storyline was, you know, there might be something extraterrestrial in a small town, which we've all seen before. The tension was perfect, and the suspension was great. And also, there's two interesting points about it being the 1950s as well. The set piece at the beginning between the two main characters, Faye and Everett, they reference Faye's character references quite a lot of scientific advancements that's going on in the 50s.
Absolutely.
And it harks back to what's happening now. Like, for instance, she mentions something like a cellular device that could have a camera on it, referencing a phone, and that's quite a funny conversation. And then the other reference to it being in the 50s was one of the callers that they get in to the show to explain his thoughts on what that weird sound on the radio might be. He's telling this big long-winded story of what he thinks it might be, and whenever it asks him why he hasn't told this story before, he says, well, no one will listen to me because I'm black. And that's quite an interest. Like, if there's anything political, it's a great scene. And because up until that point, this caller, who was called Billy, you just heard him on the phone, so you didn't know his skin colour. And like that was very, like, I know we said it wasn't political, but if there was anything political in the film, it was that. And that was quite a neat way of showing you, it's still the 1950s. You know,
it grounds it in a way. It makes it real, makes it relatable. And there's another scene later on with the elderly lady that when she tells her story. And they ask her the same question, you know, why didn't you go to the police? And she said, or to the press, and she said, because they would make the story about me.
Yes, which is kind of a bash on the media, really. And I think me and you said, like, the whole film is wrapped in mystery, but I think what the two main characters are trying to find out is causing the issues with the radio and the transmission.
With the sound.
That whatever that could be the problem, you could replace that with modern day things, or you could replace that with things that might be going on in the 50s. So, like, for instance, it might be the media. Like, the way they're talking about this unknown thing, you could replace it with the media or communism or the Russians, you know, which would make more sense in the 1950s. But it's like, if you just listened to what the characters were saying and you didn't know that it was potentially an extraterrestrial threat, it could be a threat from other sources, and you'll know what I mean when you watch the film.
You can replace the source of the mystery with anything.
Yes.
So I mean, they make I think just in casual conversation they say, oh, what do you think the noise is from? And they say, oh, it must be the Russians.
Yeah.
Because at the time,
that was the threat
in the
at the
50s,
time.
that was the threat of the world. The Russians are doing everything bad and all of that stuff. It's brilliant, yeah. So it has that feel of the 50s.
Yes.
Yeah, really good. It's called The Vast of Night.
On
it's
Prime.
On Prime, yeah. And thanks a lot, Basil. Talk next week.
Take care, Alex. Bye.
See you later.